So we want to thank you so much for joining us, everybody joining us on Facebook and our website. My name is Rabbi Ryan Daniels, and I am really thrilled to be joined here by Mr. Gilberto Piedrahita, the principal of Jordan Community Elementary School, right here in Chicago, the school that for now 2 decades, NSCI has built a relationship. They are the recipients of the donations for Operation Backpack, the school supplies that we get to pack and then deliver to Jordan School. And for these past 5 years, for the number of years that I've been at NSCI, it's been Mr. P who has greeted our teams and our truck to receive all of the supplies that are packed in our building. And it's always you, Mr. P, with your sleeves rolled up, sweating with the rest of us as we schlep boxes and cartons of school supplies up the 3 flights of stairs in Jordan. And you're always there right at the start to greet us with your great big smile, with a warm welcome, and with great encouragement as we do this mitzvah project, this great project each year. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me in this conversation.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say hello to you and to the entire congregation. And if you please give me the opportunity to say congratulations and your celebration is a centennial of your congregation offering services, serving the community, and congratulations. I really respect all the work that you guys do in pro of the community. So congratulations to you and to the entire congregation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the NSCI Centennial Year 2020. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it just speaks to the relationship that NSCI and Jordan have formed over the years. I look to you as a friend, and I'm excited to welcome you into our virtual community for you to speak with our community. And I really want to begin, your story is remarkable. Your life story and the way that you became Jordan's principal is a remarkable story of really an American dream. And I want to invite you to share that with us. Give us a little background and insight into who you are and where you've come from.
Yeah, thank you. You're right. I think the American dream is what my experience in this country is all about. Just coming over here with the desire to do something and being able to reach that goal that you have been fighting for. Even though when I came here to America, my original intention was not to reach the American dream. And let me tell you a little bit about this. So I was raised and born in Colombia, in actually one of the most beautiful cities in South America, Cartagena, Colombia, by the Caribbean Sea. It's a beautiful city. And I came to this country after I was trained as a dentist in my home country and practiced dentistry for almost 10 years. After a decade working as a dentist, I decided to take a break and going somewhere to learn a different language. And what a better language to learn than English, as it is the international business language. And that was the main reason that brought me to this country. Within the first year, I got the amazing opportunity to become a bilingual teacher. Back in 1997, there was a huge demand for Spanish-speaking educators, and it seemed like my profile fit perfectly in those needs. So I applied, and I first became a substitute just to know if that was what I wanted to do or not, because in my mind was always going back to my country. When I started subbing in classrooms in Chicago public schools, and I always say this to my family, I felt in a classroom what I never felt in my private practice. Something different happened to me, and I felt something different when I was surrounded by children. I first took this opportunity to learn English, to improve my English skills, but I never thought that I was going to find in those classrooms the passion for teaching. So after a few months of being a substitute in Chicago public schools, I decided to go for my teaching license. CPS, Chicago Public Schools, gave me a temporary license to teach, because of the demands for Spanish-speaking teachers. And within 5 years, I was absolutely in love what I was doing. I pursued my license as a teacher, and I was a classroom teacher for about 11 years. I knew since the beginning I wanted to become an administrator. So for all those 11 years, I was working on trying to learn more about it, how to better educate the students, and not only from the instructional perspective, but also how to provide the social emotional support that is fundamental in teaching and educating a child. And 11 years later, I pursued my career as an administrator, and I've been an administrator since 2011. But the funny part about this is that Jordan School was my first school that hired me as a classroom teacher. So Jordan witnessed that me growing as an educator. Then I left Jordan to see different opportunities. And once I decided to become a principal, Jordan School was the first school who saw me also as a principal. So that is something really special about Jordan Community School and me. Jordan saw me growing as a teacher, and now is watching me also growing as an administrator. So that is why I feel so linked to Jordan Community School.
That's what I was going to say. It's so obvious when I see you interacting with your staff and even with some of the students that I've seen you working with. That love and that passion that you bring to work feels like you've created a family for yourself, and for all those who are with you under that building and now in this virtual learning space too.
And you said something key. Jordan Community School is part of my family. And there is not one day at home that I don't talk about my students, about my teachers, about the parents, about something happening around the building. And I don't feel like I bring in problems to my house. I feel like I bring joy from my work. And every day I work for me is just happiness. Being able to see students smiling and learning and growing as human beings.
I'm wondering if you could share with us one or two of the greatest accomplishments that you would say. And I know that you're a humble guy. I know that you don't like to talk highly of yourself, but you've done an enormous job with Jordan for that community. And I'm wondering, what's one or two things that you're most proud of as your time as principal?
So when I came to Jordan School is being open for 26 years now. It opened the doors in 1993. And Jordan has always struggled with becoming the kind of school I always knew it could be. In 2015, I began my job as a principal. At the same time, you became Rabbi at the NCSI. I'm sorry, NSCI. Sorry about that. And by that time, Jordan was having a very unstable administrative team. Many principals were coming and leaving, and that brought a lot of instability to the community. And therefore, Jordan was rated as one of the lowest performing school in the north side of Chicago. When I came, I knew Jordan was better than that, and after establishing a solid vision from my school, communicating that vision to all the stakeholders, talking to my staff, working with them, trying to reach that goal, providing all the resources that are needed, not only to my students, but my staff, my community members, all the stakeholders. I think all of us working together with the only intention to provide two main things to my students: a safe and respectful environment where they could learn and feel valued and feel safe, and also high quality instruction in each classroom so they can see the light and at the end of the tunnel and say, I can do this and I can be successful in life. As a result of this whole process, Jordan is since 2018, level 1+ school, which is the highest ranking given to any Chicago public schools. And it is today the only level 1 plus school in the Rogers Park neighborhood where my school is located. So I believe that is the greatest accomplishment I have had at Jordan as a principal, and just being able to provide my students, my children, with what they deserve, a nurturing environment with high quality instruction. I believe that is what makes me happy the most since I became a principal at Jordan.
I remember we were standing outside of Jordan's school together with some of our teens, and you had just heard the news that Jordan's status was being elevated to where it is now. And I remember the smile on your face as you really shared this accomplishment. It was as if you were putting the A+ of your own child's test score on your refrigerator to say, "Look what we did," right? And it's always been a "we" for you, which is really, really telling of who you are, the character, the way that you hold yourself, and the expectations that you have for all those people around you. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your students, particularly a demographic. Who are these children who are learning in your halls, who are with you day in and day out?
Yeah. So Jordan community is located in the heart of the Rogers Park neighborhood. Rogers Park is one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the city. And I believe Jordan School is a really good representation of what this huge community is. So more than 25 languages are spoken in my building. I have 520 students who are coming from 33 different countries around the world. Mainly, the highest population in my building is Hispanic. 58% of the students come from Spanish-speaking countries, from Mexico all the way down to Argentina. 29% is Black. I have a 7% of my students who are white, but I also have a significant population of refugee students coming from many countries in the west side of Asia and the north side also of Africa. And that is where the great diversity of my school comes. We have 93% of my students coming from low-income families. 52% of them are English limited proficiency. And I have also 15% of my students who have special needs. So that is pretty much what the group of my students is all about at Jordan.
Tell us in particular, 93% of your families identify coming from families, low-income families, right? And that's a label and a brand that we put on these students. I'm wondering how that actually plays out in the learning and in your administering to this school.
Yeah, I think poverty leads to so many disadvantages in the world, particularly for children. I firmly believe that every child has the ability to learn, regardless of the background of that child. But one of the most severe impact of poverty is that poor children come to school facing a readiness gap. They are not as well prepared as other students or as other schools where they have all the resources they need at home. And it's not only from the instructional perspective, it's about the self-esteem, it's about the health conditions of the students, it's about the social emotional aspect of their students. So many of my students who are coming from low-income family come with that disadvantage. And it is not easy for them to perform equally as other students who are getting all those supports. So poverty decreases the ability of a student to concentrate, to motivate. Poverty reduces attentiveness, and motivation, the desire to be at the school every single day. And those are the greatest challenges that we face at our school with those students coming from low-income families. Also, many of these families, many of the parents have 2 or 3 jobs, so that reduces the amount of time that they could be with the students at home. So many students get home from school where is no adult supervision, or at least not parent supervision, and the parent support to complete homework, to complete assignments, to be just focused on what they needed to do at home. So I think those are the greatest challenges that we face when we have such a huge population of students coming from low-income families and facing poverty.
Yeah, right. How can a student focus on a classroom lesson when their stomachs are empty, when they're hungry? Or how can we expect a parent to sign a permission slip if they're not home during the waking hours of these students, right? There are things that I'm sure that you have to consider that some schools don't, right? And I know that's a great challenge, but it's also the responsibility that you've taken on. Like, how can you still educate to the highest of standards these students, regardless of their socioeconomic background or their family's experience?
True. But the great news is that when you have the right people to do that, you can mitigate those challenges for the students and make them, not only make them be successful at the school, make them believe that they can reach that level of success. And I am so grateful that I have a really great group of people working with me with the intention to reach that goal for the students. So I am very lucky of the teachers and educators I have.
If I can frame it in Jewish terms, our Bible talks about each person is created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God. That each person deep inside has this spark of divinity, has God's touch, right? And it's our job to see the holiness of each person's soul, regardless of what they look like, regardless of where they come from, regardless of any other label or way that we want to break people into different categories. That each of us inside has this divine spark, and it's our job to see that. And you are doing that and demonstrating that for us.
I try.
Yeah, it's a huge task. It's a huge task, and some days are better than others.
Yes, it is. It is. But when reaching your goal depends on factors that are out of your control, makes the job a little more challenging. But when you face all those challenges, the greatest part is that when you see students succeed, that is the greatest reward that you can see. Even if it's only one student, that makes me smile. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure makes my teachers also smile.
Yeah. Years ago when Lois Shire founded this Operation Backpack program, and the number of people currently we're working with Chad and Mara Birkin who are helping in the facilitation of this project. But that was Lois's call years ago, was what can NSCI do? What small thing can NSCI do to help you in educating your students? And I'm wondering if you can speak to, over the years, giving students the school supplies that they need, the pencils, pens, binders, notebooks, crayons, all of the supplies that they need to thrive. What has been the impact on your students' education, on your teachers' experience? What's it like for you?
But let me first say that work that you guys do with Jordan impacts in a huge way to my entire community. But before I tell you some things on how my community gets impacted by the work that you guys are doing with us, the first thing I learned about NSCI was Mrs. Schreier. That was the first person I met. I remember meeting her the first time, and I could feel the tender of her heart and the love for doing what she was doing. She's, I believe, one of those people who I will always have in my mind and in my heart, just because of the kind of heart that she has. But to answer your question, I believe that preparation is the key to success. So just knowing that the students are coming to school the first day of the school with all the tools that they need to receive instruction in the classroom opens the door immediately to the possibility to be successful. Many of them come to my school thinking, what they want to do when they get home. They're going to be a meal for them to eat. Will they have a clean t-shirt for them to wear the next day? So just knowing that they don't have to worry about buying school supplies. They don't have to worry about getting an eraser. And it sounds really simple, a pencil, a paper, an eraser. It sounds so simple, but the impact that it makes because the students are prepared for that is huge. One of the, and I just want to repeat that because one of the greatest struggles for my students is food and clothing. So again, just having them and the parents not to worry about more money to buy supplies is like it's just a great impact. Thanks to the Operation Backpack, my students and families know that they can come to school and have everything they need to begin that journey at school. And self-esteem is another huge impact in my students from receiving these school supplies. Number one, everybody had the same thing. They don't have to fight out what is better, what is worse. So it's very equal, which I do appreciate immensely this about the Operation Backpack. But just providing students with free school supplies is opening the door to be successful and making them believe they can reach that level of success. And I think that is the greatest impact that result from the Operation Backpack that NCSI do for my community.
Well, we're grateful for the partnership, and we're happy to continue doing this work. I told you before we started recording here that we just put in our order. We are ready and going ahead with school supplies for this coming year, and of course, this coming year is going to be different, right? And we're not going to ask you for the final answer as to what your school is going to look like beginning in the fall. I know that's the question that keeps you up at night these days. But tell me, what does Operation Backpack, what is having the supplies, how is this impacting your thoughts going into this coming year, whether you're going to be virtual or a hybrid experience of in-person and online learning? What are some of the other things that you're considering as you move into these next couple weeks and months?
Yes, so right now I think the most complicated situation for us is not knowing what is going to happen in about 9 weeks when the school reopens for our students. We don't know if it's going to be complete remote learning, it's going to be kind of a mix in person and online. So it will not be until we know exactly those guidelines that we can really prepare for what is coming. But one thing about the Operation Backpack for this coming school year, number one, I want to miss tremendously seeing you and seeing all those young students. I think they're high schoolers who come to school with that, like you said, sweating and putting boxes in their shoulder and bringing those boxes to each classroom. So it's a fun day, and I'm going to miss that particular day this school year. But I think this Operation Backpack will impact even greater to my students from this perspective. When they are at the school and they don't have a pencil and they don't have a notebook and they don't have whatever they need, we always have something in the school to provide them with those tools. Most likely they will be at home, and that is going to be a different story. Because if they don't have a pencil and they don't have a pencil at home, then they cannot complete their assignments. So I think having those package of school supplies like you and I spoke and being delivered to them directly home, or then coming to school and pick them up, but having those supplies at home will make a big difference for them, because it will allow them to complete the homework or the assignment that is expected from them to be finished. Some of the things that we need to do during this time, we will continue providing meals to all our families. So we have been providing breakfast and lunches for all our community 5 days a week from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we are also providing all the electronic supply that the students need for this remote experience. So we have been providing 325 different laptops to our students. We have partnership with AT&T, with Sprint, and with Comcast to provide families with either free access to the internet or access to a very low cost. It's like $9.99 per month per family. So that is being very helpful to them, and we are going to continue providing this support until this crisis ends, hopefully sooner than I think is going to happen.
That's our prayer too, for sure. Is that we hope that we are all able to return to in person, both for us at the synagogue worship and learning and fellowship, and for sure, you made mention that Operation Backpack for us will look different this year, given the current protocols, given your needs and ours. We're glad that we're able to deliver the school supplies directly from our vendor to your school, and to do so in individually wrapped, packaged kits that you can then give to each student to take home, right? While it limits our ability to spend time together in August, this does open up the opportunity to continue this program and to continue our sacred mission, right? Regardless of whether we get to schlep the boxes up the stairs together, right? The point of it all is that we get to give these school supplies to these students so that they can thrive this year, regardless of what their the platform of learning will be.
I received a sample of that kit, and I don't know what you did or how you did it, but it is simply amazing. I don't know if you have seen it,
Yeah.
but it's a great kit with everything: notebooks, pencils, erasers, pencil sharpener, paper, folders. It has everything they need for a good period of time for the school year. So thank you. I am speechless when it goes to thank you and your community for all you are giving to my community.
It's really it's our honor and our way that we honor the relationship that we have created over these years. I'd like to, we're here in the weeds talking about the pencils and the papers and the notebooks. I'm wondering if we could take it back up into the lofty conversation. What are your hopes? What are your dreams for this coming year, for your students, for your school? Understanding that there are some difficult and complicated conversations and questions that you're still navigating, but surely you still have such vision and such dreams for Jordan.
Well, it is unquestionable that this crisis has brought many challenges to everyone, but the social emotional component is negatively affecting or impacting my students. So I really hope that somehow we get over this crisis and having students back to school. And it is not only because of the health issues, but in-person instruction will never be replaced by the instruction that you can get from a computer. Those interactions that the students in the classroom help them to think out of the box and to build their social emotional skills. So that is my big hope. I can't wait to have everybody back to school and going to the classrooms and interacting with the students, sitting down in the cafeteria with them, going with them to field trips and being in the music room and the technology room and just watching the teacher teaching math and science and reading. That is my hope. That is my vision. But meanwhile, until that happens and everything comes back to normal, my hope and my dream is to continue supporting my students and their families during this time. So continue with distributing meals, continue with the distribution of devices, hotspots, just trying to provide what they need to make of this remote learning the best experience possible. And for that, I am working really close with my teachers. We meet about 2-3 times a week, planning and brainstorming different ideas on how to make this experience more and more meaningful in the benefit of the students. That is my hope.
Wow. And so, we stand here as your partner. We're You and I have spoken multiple times this past month as we prepare just the supplies and thinking about other ways that we might contribute to your students' education, whether it's collections of paper and other things that you need. We've talked about technology. We've talked about other ways that we might be supportive of you. Of course, for everybody joining us here on Facebook and our website, we'd invite you to go to NSCI's website, nsci.org, where you can find our whole page on Operation Backpack. First and foremost, opportunities for you to donate to the Operation Backpack Fund, for you to support the work that we're doing. And also, there will be, coming very soon, opportunities perhaps for you to volunteer and get involved in this conversation and to help Mr. P and his staff to raise these students up and to give them the education that they so deserve, and that you have created a system for administering such incredible learning in your school and during this time online. And so this is all a live conversation. I am so grateful to you for taking this opportunity, Mr. P, to share about your school, to share about you, and to invite us in partnership in this work of lifting up your students and being involved in the life of your school.
And likewise, I am extremely grateful for this partnership, for your friendship, for everything that the North Shore Congregation of Israel means to us. If you are listening to us, if you are watching us, if you have the same passion I have, if you believe in the children in the same way I believe, if you really believe that education is the key and the only door that can open different opportunities and horizons to my students, donate. Your donation will be in great hands, being managed by the NCSI, NSCI, and will make students at Jordan Community School much better children, happier children, thanks to that donation. Thank you for having me. I'm Rabbi Daniels. I do appreciate this opportunity. Thank you to everyone who is listening and watching us today. I am extremely grateful for all you do for my community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. I look forward to seeing everybody in our continued learning, in our worship. Check out nsci.org for all of our upcoming events and programs. We wish you a great night, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.